Welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan DeLugo. Thanks so much for tuning in here on Monday, April 14th. Happy Monday to you. Hopefully it's a good one for y'all. Had a pretty hectic day at the DeLugo household yesterday, but we're doing okay. We are doing okay. We are here with you today. Excited to get into it. On Friday, we did some second round targets for the Jaguars to look at because the NFL draft, it's next week, next Thursday. 10 days away, right? April 24th. Exciting stuff. So today, these are guys that I think are more day two targets in general, like could be second, could be third round. There is such a large cluster, in my opinion, of players in this draft class that warrant day two interest and hype from teams and from NFL draft media. So I wouldn't be shocked if some of these guys maybe sneak into the back end of the first round. I wouldn't be surprised if they're there in the third round. I just think it's going to be a pretty wild draft because of so many different team fits and team needs, and maybe this team values arm length, this team doesn't, blah, 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 like different ways that teams evaluate the draft. And there's just not a ton of consensus on a lot of prospects this year, at least in the NFL draft media world. So I'm excited to get into these day two targets, we'll say. I would not be surprised if all of them are off the board in round two. I wouldn't be surprised if some of them are still on the board in round three. That's just kind of the way this draft is shaping up right now. So we're going to talk about 6 prospects, and we're going to be talking about prospects a lot the next 10 days. And then obviously reacting to how the Jaguars end up handling the 2025 NFL draft. They have 6 picks in the first 4 rounds. They've got to get at least 3 hits, I would say. Guys that are ready to come in and play and contribute and make this football team better. So we're going to dive into it. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. So these are not in any particular order. We got a couple offensive linemen I'm going to start with, though. Marcus Bow. I've heard a lot of different pronunciations on that name. I'm not sure exactly. It's M-B-O-W, the last name is. He's from Purdue, a guy that, to me, played a lot of tackle there at Purdue, played guard early on in his career. I project him inside, really at center and guard. I would love to see him as a center at the next level. I think he has the right body composition and skill set for that. There's a few things about Marcus Bow that I absolutely love on tape. His athleticism pops, whether it's in his sets, which his sets can be inconsistent, but I don't think you see any sort of lack of athleticism in those sets. And then really moving laterally and moving vertically down the field, he's got unbelievable athleticism. And he didn't test, as far as I know, outside of the short shuttle, which was pretty good, nothing crazy for him there. I'm not sure what the deal was with not getting those testing numbers, but we don't have Mason Graham's testing numbers, and I'm fine to take him at 5, right? Like sometimes you can trust the tape. I have like an early day 2 grade on Bow as an interior player. As a tackle, I think in space, in pass protection in space, he just kind of doesn't know exactly what he's doing consistently all the time. I think the feet aren't marrying with the hands, and that can lead to some really uneven results. But you get him inside in a confined space, and he is nasty as all get out. He's the snatch trap king of this class, and that is a devastating move. He's also got a lot of different moves in his arsenal. And a lot of times when you're talking about college pass protectors, you don't see a lot of independent hand usage, a lot of snatch traps, different types of punches, different types of sets. Most guys are pretty narrow in terms of their kind of arsenal, but he's got a lot in his bag. He just needs to refine it and get more consistent with it. And I think getting him inside will help in that regard. If you're talking about at guard, he probably should be a zone, wide zone type of guy. At center, I think he could fit in any scheme. I think when you look at the Jaguars' current makeup of the interior offensive line, obviously Robert Hainsey was replaced in Tampa by a young, talented guy, Christian Barton. I think that the same situation could happen here in Jacksonville. The Jags aren't tied to Hainsey monetarily. They're not on the hook for like a ton of money long term, right? So I think you could see that. I also think you could see him compete across the board, which is, helpful. He has a lot of tackle experience. He has guard experience. So a really athletic player who has a lot of moves in his bag, a lot of versatility, and I think he could be a target for the Jaguars in the second round if they want to go offensive line in the second round, which right now, the way it looks to me is defensive line round 1, wide receiver round 2. We've kind of talked about that a good bit. I think that's kind of the direction they should go. But Marcus Mbo potentially. Tate Ratledge, another one, an offensive lineman out of Georgia who played right guard for them. Aesthetically, it doesn't get much better than Tate Ratledge. Like as an offensive lineman, wears number 69, has the mullet, the mustache, the tattoos, all of it kind of stacking up for Ratledge there. But then it's really about the tape and the athleticism. He tested incredibly well at the combine. Was just honestly tested better than I expected. And I think when you look at his tape this year, there was some little injuries, nicks that he was dealing with. So I think maybe that kind of informs why he was able to test better than maybe what I expected based on the tape, because he was dealing with injuries throughout the season. So I think Tate Ratledge, very consistent both in pass protection and as a run blocker, doesn't pop off the tape like with, like Marcus Mbo. He has high variance a little bit at times, but he has, if you just plug in Marcus Mbo's like 20 most impressive reps, you'd be thinking this guy's like a top 5, top 10 pick, right? Tate Ratledge is more steady, more even. I think that he's good technically. He's good athletically. He has enough strength. He can continue to build that strength, but somebody who can come in and potentially be a starting guard for you, and you don't have to have him jump into the starting lineup immediately. He can kind of compete for it throughout his rookie year, and if he comes in and does a good job, maybe he earns it at some point during the rookie year. If not, heading into 2026. The Jaguars can get out of Ezra Cleveland's contract following the 2025 season. Not saying they should, just saying that that's a potential runway for them. And then also just offensive line depth is critical. If you have a young player like Tate Ratledge as depth for the next year or two, you could be doing a lot worse, right? So those are the two offensive linemen that I kind of wanted to hit on today. And again, we're going to continue talking about more draft prospects. So if I didn't talk about your favorite guy, that doesn't mean I don't think they're a fit. That just means with the way the Rams have kind of looked at things and the way Liam Cohen has had his offensive line with the Bucs last year, I think these are two guys that potentially fit. And it's also going to be interesting to see they're going to have a plan with what they want their run game to be. Obviously, we don't know exactly what that plan is. Liam Cohen, I think, came in, wanted to do a lot of outside zone stuff last year. The team just proved that they were better at gap power run scheme. And so that's what they leaned into. This year, Cohen and James Gladstone will have the opportunity to kind of mold what they think this offensive line should be through the draft. And they've already got some starters. There's no question about it. But that's going to be kind of a fascinating subplot of the draft. Like, what type of offensive lineman are they looking for exactly in terms of do you want guys that can be balanced? Do you want guys that are more trending towards an outside zone scheme, more trending towards a gap power scheme? What are we looking for here? Now, looking at a defensive lineman, TJ Sanders out of South Carolina. This is somebody who, in a really deep defensive line class, I don't think he gets talked about quite enough. Honestly, his tape was awesome. I've been a big fan of him for a long time. And then he had a tremendous combine, really good combine, looked great in field work. And the tests that he did a really good job overall. 31.5-inch vert, 9.4 broad, 7.7 3-cone, 20-yard shuttle at 4.67. And I think the most impressive thing really for TJ Sanders is what his weight was, which was 297, heavier than I expected a little bit. He projects as a penetration style 3 technique type of player at the next level. And I think he's going to be a really good one at that. He's 6'4", 297, 33 and an eighth arms, 10 and a quarter hands. His length, natural leverage, and flexibility in his large hands allows him to kind of, in the run game, lock out offensive linemen, keep them off his chest, keep himself clean, and that allows him to peek and to stack and shed and to do all those things that you need in the run game. He's not going to anchor down against double teams all that often. You shouldn't be asking him to do that or putting him in a position where that's going to be what the offense is trying to do against him. You need to have him as more of, again, a penetration style guy who can also win one-on-one in the run game at a really high level. But he's got a lot of hand moves. He's got flexibility throughout his frame to kind of bend. Not a lot of guys have that at the defensive tackle spot. I think he's going to be a really big disruptor in the middle, and I think he's going to rack up some sacks and some pressures and really get wherever he lands pretty juiced up as an interior pass rusher. So I like TJ Sanders a lot. And to me, he just kind of falls into the mold of some of the guys that the Jaguars have looked at, or excuse me, the Rams have looked at with James Gladstone over the last several years. And TJ Sanders, I don't think, comes in if you draft Mason Graham at 5. But let's say you go in a different direction at 5. Maybe you trade down, whatever happens. TJ Sanders, to me, could be a very good fit in the second, maybe third round. Again, I doubt he falls to 70, but there's a lot of defensive tackles in this class. There's a lot of talent throughout that kind of gets jumbled up in the second round. So maybe it's possible. Thinking a different draft class, he could potentially be garnering first round attention, but this is a really deep defensive tackle class. Big fan of TJ Sanders. So we've got 3 more guys to talk about, but first, do you ever watch sports, find yourself wishing there was a way to get into the game? Now there is with Underdog. To play, choose whether a player will go higher or lower on one of their stats, i.e. points, strikeouts, touchdowns, and more. Y'all already know. Play in game. I'm looking at selecting my Magic Paolo Banchero to go higher on points tomorrow night. Probably going to take Franz to go higher on points as well. So download the Underdog app and sign up now using promo code DuvalDaily to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Join in on the fun when you sign up with promo code DuvalDaily. Claim your special offer today and again, get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly upon first deposit. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus, Alabama, Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus, Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncbgambling.org. Arizona, 1-800-NEXT-STEP. That's 1-800-639-8783 or text NEXT STEP to 53342. New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. 3 more prospects to talk about here today. So we've got Femi Oladejo out of UCLA, who, if you've been watching the show, you know I'm pretty high on him. I think the Jags are going to really like him a lot too, because one of the things you always talk about with the Jags is that kind of the intangibles, right? The intangibly rich players. That's what James Gladstone always likes to call it. I think Femi Oladejo brings a lot of energy to the football field, and he's always hyping his guys up around him. But he's a linebacker converted down to edge, and to me, he has all the traits. It wasn't even a full year at UCLA of playing edge. He kind of like transitioned during the 2024 campaign, and he did a wonderful job, amazing job, in my opinion. And again, has all the traits. The tape's pretty good. Went to the Senior Bowl, did great there. Went to the Combine, did great there. So yeah, Femi Oladejo for me, definitely somebody to keep an eye on day 2 for the Jaguars. I think they'll like him a lot. And if he's your edge 3, you could be doing a lot worse. Darian Porter, cornerback out of Iowa State. There's a few things about him that I think will really stand out to the Jaguars. The first thing is, he literally, his quarterback rating allowed this year was like 6. Former wide receiver, converted to corner, older prospect, didn't get on the field a ton outside of special teams early in his career, but he is a special teams ace. He makes a ton of plays on special teams, has blocked a bunch of kicks, has done a lot of things to just help the football team win games. But unbelievable length, unbelievable athleticism, impressive tape in terms of just like the traits, the foot quickness, the fluidity, again, the length, all that, the ball skills. So I think Darian Porter is someone the Jaguars could really value on day 2 of the draft, and a guy that would make sense, I think, to pair up with Tyson Campbell. You've got some veterans, Tyson Campbell, Jordan Lewis, Jarian Jones going into year 2. I think bringing in Darian Porter to this situation could really elevate the room in a big way long term. Final guy I wanted to look at here today was Xavier Watts, the safety out of Notre Dame. This is a player who very consistent throughout his career. He is a ball hawk. He is somebody who you saw a little bit in the playoff of maybe not having his best games as a run defender, but I think the total picture shows a good run defender, a good high-level tackler, but overall the biggest thing about his game is he's a ball hawk on the third level. He can pick passes off as well as anyone in college can right now, really better. I mean, he's just been a turnover machine throughout his last couple years at Notre Dame. So that's the type of guy I think the Jaguars could really use on the back end. He's smart. He's not going to be like the most overwhelming athlete out there, but he's very smart, very instinctive, and just knows how to get his hands on the football back there at safety. I think you can play him as a single high guy. I think in a 2 high shell, he makes a lot of sense as well. So a lot of different usage, but somebody who is going to be pretty darn sound overall, and then also have the ability to make plays on the football for you. So that'll do it here. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. Have a good one.